Something very serious has happened today.
But you made the statement that all the students was in class. Have I been misinformed that we had a Black Power meeting and hands put in the air in those halls out there this morning, and the word Black Power was shouted out there?
I don't think that the majority of us here tonight are here to discuss racial matters, prejudice. We're here to find out what's going to happen to our children. We are here behind our school and for our school and for our children. And would you give our principal a vote of confidence tonight?
The passage in the House came late today after hours of debating amendments and substitute amendments to the House's own insurance bill. That's not the same as the bill approved by the Senate yesterday. Original strategy here in Austin was to propose the entire Senate bill as a substitute for the House bill, but somehow that never came about. The bill now goes to the Senate to see if senators will approve this version. The sponsor of the Senate bill, Senator Oscar Mazzei of Dallas, foresees no problem.
It's possible if we move with dispatch and unless there's a filibuster, and there are ways to prevent filibusters, which we're going to try very hard to do.
How?
You move the previous question on the sponsor of the bill, which in this case would be me. What I'll do is ask one of my colleagues who's in favor of the bill to move the previous question on me, which means we have to vote as soon as I sit down.
Well, they seem to be taking it out on you tonight, except there was a standing ovation vote of confidence. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that really the people that know me and have dealt with me know that I really care about their kids and that I work hard for their school and for their students. And I know in my heart that I'm doing what's right. So
Are you discouraged by the lack of blacks here tonight?
Yes, I'm discouraged a little.
I called the police department, and that woman said I would have to call the Dallas Independent School District. And my brother's inside that building right now, and if he's hurt, so help me. I'm sick of this, and this is our uncommon school, people. This is our uncommon school.
Do you blame it on busing?
Well, I think busing definitely is one of the problems.
Think we're done with you.
All right, Bill, how you doing?
We're going to say good afternoon, Senator, and then I'm going to walk right over here and sit down.
Glad to have you in.
That, I feel as though that if I were an insurance man on the House Insurance Committee, I'd disqualify myself.
Yeah.
Which is the only ethical way to do it. It's not the very word.
That's right.
What are you going to do as principal of Spruce to stop this?
Well, of course, right now we're talking with
What did you see?
I saw it. Yesterday I was sitting in shorthand.
Every county department for discrimination against women represented in many areas of the department's investigated. Their clerk's office was offered by the county auditor's office and by
Come on, Ed, give us about 30 minutes of commentary, will you? We got some time.
Our daughters, they've taught me a great deal about lib, and I believe in the sort of lib that they've taught me.
So you're not a male chauvinist pig?
I'm not what?
A male chauvinist pig?
No. I think not.
What were we just on? What has happened to Bill now? Niles, one of our newer lifters. He lifts for TCU and UTA. Over on the bench is Bill Bryant.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Don't you love that? Looks like my tax man.
You walked in, lights came on, all around her face. You lit up the
Mr. Worley, not invent the cotton candy, the Russians did it. It was briefly. Our panelists today helped make us.
The call for additional police units at Spruce High School came in about 8:20 this morning as an estimated 200 to 300 black and white students got together in the 9600 block of Old Seagoville Road. This would be between the Spruce campus and St. Augustine. Although Channel 8 News units arrived on the scene after the disturbance had been quelled by Dallas police, there were a number of people standing around, students and adults as well, still talking about the action of the morning. I talked to one of those who had witnessed the arrest of one student.
Did you see anything here Did you see anything, sir?
I saw this policeman here handcuff a boy about 14 years old and take him over here and put him beside the squad car. I don't know if he arrested him or not. He was white.
The detective in question was close at hand. I attempted to talk to him and ask him about the students he had arrested.
Excuse me, sir. Could we ask you what you know about the happenings this morning?
You can contact my supervisor. He'll tell you.
Who would that be, sir?
Lieutenant Hill.
Lieutenant Hill?
Yes.
All right. Did you arrest anyone, sir?
Yes, I did.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, sir, I did.
Who did you arrest?
I couldn't tell you their names. They're
Juvenile?
You got the same result
Never talking.
All right, this is the way you...
Though this officer was not talkative, other Dallas police officers at the scene this morning were most cooperative. There were a number of arrests. They numbered about 2 to 1, white students over black students. All were charged with disorderly conduct. There were 2 minor injuries inflicted, both to girls at the school. A Mexican-American girl was hit over the head with a bottle by an unknown assailant. A white girl was struck with a crutch. There was a black male arrested in that incident. The principal at Spruce High School, Mr. Bruce Norman, told me that they would make every effort to pull things together at Spruce and get back down to the business of school affairs. I asked him where he would place the blame for today's action.
I think probably a number of things. The students bust in don't have the community pride in the school as the ones that live here. And there's just been a conflict of interest.
Of the hundreds of students at Spruce High School, remember, only 200 or 300 were involved today, and how many of those, how deeply? At least one student, Miss Linda Jackson, wants to get down to the business of education.
From now on, I'm going to go in that school and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to try to learn the best I can. I'm not going to bother anybody if they don't bother me. But when something comes down to either it's going to be some of my friends getting hurt or somebody I know that I love, then I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to put up with this no more.
The Women's Equity Action League has found what they call insidious forms of sex discrimination throughout the county government. Marion Mills, chairman of the investigation, spoke before Commissioner's Court, pointing out that in 7 county departments, women were concentrated in the lowest paying jobs or completely excluded, that there was no uniform maternity policy and no adequate grievance procedure. Ms. Mills gave the county 1 month to take some corrective action. On News 8 at noon today, I asked her if there were women willing and able to handle the upper echelon jobs, even into the county commissioner's job itself. Judge Lou Sterrett told me he didn't believe there was discrimination in any of the county offices. I then asked him if he considered himself a male chauvinist pig, to which he replied,
And you say, old folks often have problems of nutrition, so let's give them food, or let's give them food stamps. What they have is a lack of money. If we look at old folks, we say, old folks often have problems of health, so let's give them health programs. What they lack is the money to buy health. Or we say housing. Old folks often live in bad houses, so let's give them housing. What they have is a lack of money, so they can buy their own houses. But in putting on the program, first of all, we don't look at the distributive effect. And so what we do is instead of giving old folks money for housing, we give builders money for housing. And we subsidize the builder.
Big Red, you kind of try to help noise pollution this year and kind of hold it down a little bit?
No, I'll tell you this, and I want you to remember how I'm saying it. We're going to beat Texas by at least 5 touchdowns. We're the nation's #1 football team. We're going to the Orange Bowl.
They are definitely an improved team over last year. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone scored on them yet, and that's an improvement over last year.
How do you feel personally about the game? Did you have a good one last year against Oklahoma?
Well, I thought I did. They're really going to be tough. I don't know. I look forward. This is going to be one of the toughest games of the year for us. It's really going to be a test.
Do you like Lowry operating the quarterback position for you now?
Yes, I do. Alan's got what it takes. He's a natural athlete, and he's a competitor. He's real tough, and he's just kind of hard to beat.
Raymond, how has the Oklahoma defense changed from last year?
Well, it's changed quite a bit from last year. We now run a 5-2 basic, and last year we had a 4-3 defense. So now we have a 3 down lineman instead of 4, and so far we've done pretty good with it.
Have your individual duties changed any?
Not a whole lot. I'm on a different side, so that takes a different technique. But as far as the individual assignments, they're about the same.
What are your thoughts on the team? Are you better than last year, and if so, how much?
Yeah, I think we're quite a bit better than where we were last year. I think we're doing a lot well. We haven't been scored on yet, touchdowns. First team hasn't been scoring at all, and the second team has got 2 field goals on them. So I think that's quite a bit of improvement from last year, and I hope we keep going up.
In other words, you're playing less and enjoying it more.
So to speak.
Malcolm, without telling us anything of your plans that you're not supposed to tell, what will be your duties in defending the Oklahoma wishbone?
Well, just depending on what defense we run, I'll either be assigned to take the quarterback or the pitch man. Just depends on what defense we run or where the position of the ball is on the field.
What type of exercises do you do to relate to such a speedy attack as Oklahoma does? Will you play this defense a little different from others because of their speed?
Well, I'm not sure what their plans are yet. We hadn't actually got into preparations, but I'm sure it'll probably be just one of our regular defenses.
The big question always arises when you play Oklahoma, with the conference schedule just behind that, and particularly a big one with Arkansas. Do you get up for Oklahoma as much as you will later on for the other Southwest Conference teams?
I think so. After you've been around for a while, you can get up for everybody.
Present and future faculty and students of Texas Christian University will reap the benefit of their generosity. I take a sense of personal pride in presenting to the trustees, the chancellor, the faculty, the staff, and students of Texas Christian University the Cyrus K. and Ann C. Rickel Building for Health, Physical Education, and Recreation in memory of Cyrus K. and Ann C. Rickel.
This beautiful building will make possible countless hours of recreation, competition, and years of physical health and mental health for TCU students. On behalf of all present and future TCU students, I would like to express our utmost gratitude to all the donors who made this Rickel Center a reality. Thank you very much.
Did that when I played Dallas originally. Nobody ever came up with a meal. I had to struggle along on K rations and grow pup and all that stuff, you know.
Now, some of the policing activities will be to decide whether or not a patient should be admitted to a hospital. Before he is admitted, it will designate something of the drugs that can be used. It will, according to computer printouts, decide how long a person should stay in the hospital, possibly even whether or not you should be operated. Will be indicated to the admitting physician before you're put into the hospital.
Dr. Anthony, are you saying to me that if I came to you as my doctor and there was something wrong with me, you'd have to ask a committee before you could put me in the hospital, and they'd have to tell you whether I could go and how long I could stay and so forth?
Under the terms of this bill, that is the ultimate situation.
As soon as the bill's sponsor, Representative Don Cavanis of Austin, got up to explain its provisions, a long line of questioners started forming at the rear microphone on the floor of the House. Cavanis explains that the bill, in his opinion, will greatly improve Texas insurance rates, and in answer to a question from the floor, he says legislators have not been rushed in considering the bill.
We've spent 3.5 weeks from the day we started in Insurance Committee. This bill was introduced the first day we met. And we have spent 3.5 weeks studying the matter. We've heard experts from all over the country. We've brought in people who we knew were opposed to competitive rating. We brought in people we knew were for it. We brought in people from states that have just gone to it and states that have been on it for a long time and asked them to tell us what they think. And the committee deliberated long and hard. The subcommittee then deliberated long and hard.
Let me ask you this question.
I feel like it was a sufficient length of time.
While all this debate was going on, Representative J.W. Stroud of Dallas was working toward passage of the Dallas County voting machine bill. That's the bill that would let commissioners buy voting machines instead of renting them. Trouble is, the bill had to be reconstructed because the original copy got lost. Speaker Rayford Price has threatened an investigation if the original bill doesn't show up. Meanwhile, a reconstruction of that bill is working its way through the House.
The Insurance Committee in the regular session, 62nd session, had a bill for competitive rating for automobile insurance, and it was heard made when we were considering the bill that said, are you going to turn all these big insurance companies loose on the people of our state? And he said that answer proved. And also, as you're aware, they're not intended to try to help each other. Turn them loose on themselves, and somebody's going to say,
when do you think you'll get around to voting on it?
Well, hopefully right after this incident.
Are there any significant differences?
No, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Once it gets over there, then you get the substitution made, you're home free.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
We hope.
That's okay.
He's going to call for a Department of Public Safety investigation or not. He said he would.
Yeah.
And to find out what happened to the provision.